I want to welcome everybody to Celebrity Central. My name is Richard, and I want to welcome you to this very strange class, per se. I call it the best camera you'll ever own, because the best camera you have is the one you always have with you. And I will tell you, up until the iPhone 4S, that's what changed my mind. Now, I'm going to tell you a dirty secret. This is something I don't generally share. Anybody have an iPhone 4 back in the day? No, you have it now. The iPhone 4, personal honest thing, is why I switched to Android the first time. Because if you, this is the truth. Because if you think back to the iPhone 4, if you remember, there was a problem with the antenna on the iPhone 4, and Steve Jobs came out and told everyone that they're just holding the phone wrong, and that's why they can't make calls work. And it said the iPhone 4 only dropped 2 more calls per 100 than the iPhone 3GS. I was like, nah. So I switched and I actually went over to Android for a couple of years. Then I came back when the iPhone 5S was a thing. I came back and I went to the iPhone 4S just for fun. And I have never owned a standalone camera since. And what I mean by is a standalone point-and-shoot camera. Do I own specialty cameras like a GoPro? Where's my GoPro? It's in my bag somewhere. I have a GoPro. Put it in there. Yeah. Do I own specialty cameras like a GoPro, which is something we'll talk about a bit later? Yes, but as a main camera, my main camera is my iPhone. And to tell you the truth, I came on the ship on the 17th, so 17th this month, 17th September. I come on, I didn't have a uniform, my bags had not gotten on the ship yet and everything like that. I get a call from the captain, he goes, Richard, do you want to go out and take a joyride on the lifeboat? I'm like, okay. I don't know if I have these pictures. But he goes, Richard, do you want to go out and take a joyride on the lifeboat? So I'm like, okay, I'll go take a joyride on a lifeboat with you. And I go out and I take with me my iPhone and my Android phone. Here, where's the pictures? And the guy looks at me and he goes, you don't have a normal camera. I thought you were going to bring a normal camera with you. And obviously didn't bring a normal camera with me. I took a lot. Oh, here we go. Here's September 17th. I obviously didn't bring a normal camera with me, but I'll give you an idea. Here's some of the pictures that I took on a smartphone camera out in Southampton. You know, I've got to try and get them, you know, these are pictures that are taken right off, and they're getting a little strange on the screen, but these phones are almost as good as a normal camera, and you always have them with you. So I want to talk about the first scenario that you may come across. Now, understand, for a majority of this class, as I said the other day, and we'll see who was here the other day in a couple seconds, for a majority of this class, I'm going to be using my iPhone. Now, that is in my left pocket. I don't know why that's still stuck on the screen. That's in my that's in my right pocket, but I still have an Android phone in my left pocket. So don't feel left out if you're an Android user as well. I think that's a very important thing to say, because I don't want to, there we go. Let's get this back on the screen. I don't want you to feel left out if you are an Android user as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started as soon as my phone decides it wants to cooperate with me. Let us see if it wants to cooperate with me. This is why you don't do things wirelessly. A guy came up to me before the class. He said, "Don't you do things with why don't you do things with a wire?" I go, "Because I like to do things wirelessly, and I like to live dangerously." So let's talk about a scenario. I'll get it up on the screen in just a few seconds' time. I'm sure we've all had a scenario before where you want to take a picture of something. No. This is the Blade. This is my secret network. Don't laugh at that. This is the way I'm projecting on the screen. It's not to do with celebrity Wi-Fi or anything like that. It's just the Blade. It's that ugly little Windows computer. So that was actually a Windows computer fail. But it will be fixed in about 20 seconds if things want to play with me, because Windows decided to do an update.
It's so nice to know other people have these problems.
It's so nice to know other people have, well, it doesn't happen on my Mac, but it does happen on my Windows machine. Wandy's the Windows expert. I might have him come up and take over this class in a few seconds. But, yeah, okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so back to our discussion. Now, what's probably happened a lot of times before, if you have a smartphone, is, you want to take a picture of something, and a camera just does one basic function. It takes a picture. So if you have a phone and you want to take a picture, now I'll give you a scenario where this would happen. Let's say you happen to be in Alaska. How many of you have been to Alaska before? On a cruise? Yeah? You've been to Alaska on a cruise? And when you're in Alaska on the cruise, what you will hear, you will be on a sea day, you'll be near the Hubbard Glacier or near wherever you're going, and you hear, boom, boom. Attention, ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain of the Navagasan Bridge. I wanted to let you know that there is a school of whales coming up on the port side. Now, what's the first thing every passenger does to every crew member when that announcement goes? They go, which side is the port side?
Yes.
L-E-F-T has 4 letters. P-O-R-T has 4 letters. Also, let me think about this. Murano is on the port side, and they serve a lot of port wine in Murano. So you got the port side, and you got the other side. So they all rush out to the port side, and then what happens is they go to their phone, they try the fingerprint thing, because they didn't set it up properly, and they try the fingerprint thing a couple times, it doesn't work. Then they think about their code. Get the code right. Okay, we finally got the code right. So we get the code right, and then we're like, okay, and then we got to get out of Facebook, and then we got to open up the camera, and by the time we've done that, where's the whale? It's gone. And then afterwards, the captain will make the same announcement. We'll say, ladies and gentlemen, the family of whales has crossed behind the ship, and they are now sushi. No, I'm sorry. No. The family of whales has crossed behind the ship, and they are now on the starboard side. And believe it or not, the same guest that asked me which side is the port side asked me which side is the starboard side. Don't know how some people afford to go on cruises. So, that was a joke. So, here's what I want to tell you. This is the first thing I want to start with, is if you need to get to your camera quickly, there is a way to get to your camera very, very quickly on your device. And it depends what device you have and what operating system you have, to be perfectly honest. So if you have an iPhone or an iPad, you remember that there used to be a little button down here on the lock screen. There used to be a little camera icon down here on the lock screen that you could flip up and do it. And if some of you are still running older software, that does still exist. But if you're running iOS 11, which is the newest, and later on in the cruise, Wandy is going to be doing an iOS 11 class where he's going to show you some of the new stuff in iOS 11. It's likely going to be Tenerife afternoon. We're still working on the schedule there. But if you have iOS 11, it keeps going off because the lock screen's there, you'll see that there's a little camera down here, and all you have to do if you have iOS 11 is, you know how you would slide to the left to open your phone? If you slide from right to left, it automatically opens up the camera. That's if you have iOS 11. If you still have iOS 10, which I don't have, you just go right here like this, and you slide up in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, everybody's phone is a little bit different, so I'm happy to, after the class, show you how to do that. Now, on Android phones, on most Android phones, all you need to do is press the power button twice. Dirty secret, I actually like the Android way better. So I press the power button twice, and it automatically gets me into the camera. On the iPhone, I actually have to touch the screen. So just giving you the concept there. When you do that slide, you have access to the camera, and this is access to the full camera, but here's the important thing. You do not have access to the rest of the phone. What I mean by that, how many times have you handed your camera over to somebody and said, take a picture of me, and you've handed them a fully unlocked phone and said, here you go, please rob me. If you go like this, even if I hand her my phone, all she can do is take a picture of me. She can't do anything but go ahead and take a picture of me, which is, kind of the interesting variable there. So I want you to have the camera open. If you haven't figured out how to quick open it, feel free to come on up after the class, and me or Wandy will show you how to quick open it. But once you have the camera open, I'm actually going to turn mine the hard way, but you can go ahead and do it the easy way. I want you to go ahead and do something very simple. I want you to take a picture of me. Now, yesterday, I'm going to tell you the truth, this picture broke someone's phone. There she is, right there. That is legitimately not a joke. She's like, I took a picture of you and then my phone stopped working. Fortunately, her husband's phone was her old phone, and she never, he's got the dead phone. Okay, so, keep your camera up, because I'm going to see who's doing it right. Now, as a hospitality employee, we are never supposed to say no to people.
You're an idiot.
So I now have a yes and a no button. Whoa. What did your phone just do? I think we just got to go over and go, no. No. Now, just as an FYI, I love these buttons. They're like my favorite. They just screams screams no in different ways. And then this
Why not? Yes, absolutely.
You can get these, where I got these is in Lisbon, Portugal. There's a shop called Aleoop. It's got a cow in the front. You'll see it, trust me. It's got a cow in the front. It's wonderful. I only tell you this today because guess where we are today? We're in Lisbon today. They're like €6 each. But here's the thing. She took the picture wrong. get there. I'll show you why. How is there a right and a wrong way to take a picture? I want to show you why, and I want you to pay attention to these side screens, because these are TV screens or computer screens like you would have at home. This is a projection screen. So at certain points during today's class, I'm going to ask you to pay attention to the side screen, because you'll see things a lot clearer on the side screen, even though they're a lot bigger on the front screen. If I take a picture here, how many of you are taking it up and down, like this, as you would normally hold the phone? You can admit it. About of you were. It's okay. So when you take pictures up and down, it only fills about a third of the screen. You see that I only have about a third of the screen filled, and you're cutting off some of the power of your camera sensor. So you're only using about 1/3 of the camera sensor. If you take that same picture and flip your phone sideways, though, or your tablet sideways, do you see it fills a much larger portion of the screen? You're cheating yourself out of your camera by taking a picture up and down. Also, what's very important, so we're going to talk iPhones for a minute. When you take it sideways, you want to make sure the physical camera is at the top. If you have an iPhone or a camera that is on one side. Now, some of you are sitting here with Android phones that are like, okay, well, I got a problem. My camera is in the middle. What do you mean by camera top? Is this at the top, is that at the top? You want the charging port where you plug your phone in or your tablet in to be in your right hand. So if the charging port is in your right hand, the camera's at the top. Because here's the important thing. If I take a picture like this, on my iPhone, it will be right side up. But if I send that picture to someone who uses a Windows computer, guess what that picture does? It turns upside down. No problem. Yeah, that explains a lot. And I'm sure you get it on your AOL account, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, God. We'll get there later. Not today, later in the cruise. She gets upside down pictures on her AOL account, but you know how you can do this. You can click it, you can edit, rotate 90 degrees, edit, rotate 90 degrees, and it's fine. But here's the important thing. What happens if you take a video upside down? That is really awesome. Your phone just loves making noise. It's wonderful. We can use that as a backup sensor for the ship when we're going to port today.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that when you take the videos that you take them this way, because we can go in, we've all rotated a picture before, but how many of us have rotated a video before? You have. What have you rotated it in, just for fun?
FrameMaker or FreeMaker?
FreeMaker? It's pretty painful, isn't it, or it's okay?
It was easy.
It was easy. Well, you're a fortunate one, because usually people raise their hands and go, because I have a video I'm going to show you later that I took upside down by mistake, and it was painful. I took it with my GoPro. I'm going to show you later in the class. It was painful to go ahead and rotate that. But what you want to do is you want to primarily try and take pictures sideways. Now, you can't always, because let's say you have, and I'm using something from the other day, the Leaning Water Bottle of Pisa. You can't get the Leaning Water Bottle of Pisa in if you're going like this. So you have to go, like that in order to fit that whole water bottle in. That is an exception to the rule, not the rule. So the general rule is you want to take it sideways with the camera at the top. You're going to see another exception to the rule a bit later in the class. When I take a portrait photo, I'm going to use it like that because this is usually portrait. But understand, these TVs on the wall, your computer screens at home, are always wider than they are tall. Am I correct in that assumption? 4x6 photos. If you took them the wrong way, you could just rotate the photo. And it's fine. We don't really rotate the TV, and that's why it just shows, see that little image right in the middle of it. But videos, 100% of the time, you need to take this way. Now, this is a little side note I want to point out, because a lot of people don't know this. When you have when you're taking a picture, and this is true on iPhones and Android phones, when you're taking a picture, you'll see that there's this dark area where the button is, and the different selection things are, and different things like that when you're taking picture, because a picture is an aspect ratio of 4:3. So 4 inches by 3 inches, or 8 inches by 6 inches. It's in a 4:3 aspect ratio, but here's the important thing. None of this is in the picture. But if you go to video, you'll see that this becomes clear. Do you see that? That becomes clear. If I'm taking a video, and I want to avoid getting my creepy uncle in the video, if I'm putting, you're not creepy uncle, but you're the creepy uncle stand-in. If I put creepy uncle right there, he's still in the video. He won't be in the photo, but he's still in the video. You see, creepy uncle's right there, and creepy uncle's in the video. So you want to make sure that when you take a video, you understand that this is a part of the video, because the video is always taken the same resolution as your screen. That's why if you look at a photo, You notice whenever you look at a photo on your phone, you always have black bars on the photo. They might be a little more, a little less, but you always have black bars on the photo. Oh, look, Windows decided to update again. Okay. Skype is now installed. Thank you. So don't use that. But when you take a video, we always want to take a video in this orientation. But I want to go back to photos for a minute, because sometimes when you take a photo, it's super hard to find, especially if you're outside, that little tiny white button.
Yeah.
So here's a really cool trick. On all the phones it will work the same, but when you have the camera open, if you press the volume, or tablets as well, it's not as comfortable on iPads, your fingers should naturally fall down by the volume keys, and if you press either volume up or volume down, it takes a picture. Now, how do I use this? The answer is at Walmart. We know Walmart, right? Yeah, so there's this great website I highly recommend you check out if you ever want a good laugh or feel better about yourself, called peopleofwalmart.com. It's pictures of people in Walmart. Sometimes people go to Walmart in underwear. Sometimes they go in diapers. Sometimes they have scooter races.
Yeah.
But here's the secret to it. If you want to take a covert picture, if you want to be a private investigator, you can also just hold your phone up to your ear and press the volume button, and guess what you got? Pretend I'm talking to someone, press the volume button, and I got that picture. I got that picture of Wandy and his third girlfriend. What? Wandy don't like me talking about the third girlfriend like that, does he? There we go. Wandy, there's the third girlfriend, the orange backpack, and boom! I got the picture right there. One of the really cool things, so on the iPhone, you can only use that to take a picture. But here's the cool thing. On most newer Android phones, like Galaxy S6 and above, the higher-end Android phones, you can actually use that for Zoom as well. Apple hasn't done that quite yet, but I'm saying on the Android phones, one of the things I really like is you can use that to use zoom in and zoom out, and it's very beneficial to do in that way. But I'm sure we've all taken a photo or a video before. I want to talk about some of the other modes that may be on your device. Now another mode that, okay, and if you hold it down, it's going to take 17,000 photos. Forgot to say that. Now I'm going to tell you something that's going to be a stupid thing to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. You can also plug your headphones into your headphone jack and use the volume thing on the headphones as a remote system. The problem is most new iPhones don't have a headphone jack. So, yeah, you got an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8?
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, you got an iPhone something.
iPhone something, but I don't know what.
Did you get it in the last week?
No.
Then it's an iPhone 7 Plus.
Okay.
If you didn't, if you got it in the last week, it could have been an 8 Plus. But if you didn't get it in the last week, it's an iPhone 7 Plus. They're very hard to tell apart. But we've talked about video, we've talked about photo. We're going to go back to photo a little bit later on, but I want to talk about some of these other modes here on the bottom of the device. Now we're going to talk about ones that everyone would have. One of them is called a square, which is just a photo that is a square. Now, you have a 4:3 resolution on most photos. This is a, as they say in German, it's actually really funny, this is an 1 und 1. It's a 1 by 1. I think that's 1. But it's a 1 by 1. So what is the purpose of square? Well, the answer is it's for taking pictures of your food. For taking pictures for a passport photo, for doing different things like that. So let's say we've got this yes button and pretend it's our circular plate at dinner. And what we do is we take the yes button, Windows, yes button. No, Windows is fine, it's just catching up. So I take my yes button right here, I put him right there, and I frame it. I'll go on the black stage so you can see. I frame it so I have a little bit of the tablecloth and stuff around, and that's how you post the pictures of your food and send it to the starving passengers on Carnival. So, post the pictures of food. Remember, you need to clean your plate because there's starving people on P&O. It's true. It's true. But that gives you a little idea. So that's what a square photo is. But there's different types of things you can take that are also videos. You have a slow motion video and you have a time-lapse video. Not everyone's device will have this. Everybody will have photo and video and square generally, but slow motion and time-lapse are a bit more unique in options. Now, how many of you have taken a slow motion or a time-lapse before? So, let's see which one I have up first. I have a time-lapse up first. So this is a time lapse of the last time the Celebrity Silhouette was allowed to sail into Venice. Now, they don't allow ships that large to sail into Venice anymore because it's destroying the city and stuff like that, so only the smaller ships can really sail into Venice because they don't displace as much water. But this is a time lapse of Venice. Now, what this is a 3.5 hour sail into Venice. I took it out of my porthole on deck 2. It's a 3.5 hour sail into Venice, and it takes about 4 minutes to watch. Now, a time lapse is a video, and the minimum time for taking a time lapse is 45 minutes. Give you an example. Right after this class, you go back to your cabin. You go out to your balcony. If you're fortunate enough to have one, I just have a window. But if you have a balcony, you can take your phone, set it there, set it on time lapse, keep it sturdy there, and you can get the whole sail in to the port. And it's going to automate that, and you're going to see the little police running around in Lisbon trying to tie the ship down. It's really funny to actually watch that.
Do you have to hold the button? all
No,
the time?
so you press time lapse, and here's the secret. You need to keep your phone or your tablet completely still. So you keep it completely still, you press the button, and then you come back and you press the button when you're done. You don't hold your phone. This is where it gets interesting. You need to keep it completely still. Now the ship can move. Oh, the ship should move. Unless it's Carnival again, but let's not go there. This is good. So, the ship can move, but if you move, you're going to make people sick. So the ship is moving, and the scenery outside is moving, but you need to keep the camera stationary. Now, can you just sandwich it between 2 napkin holders and do that? Of course you can. How I prefer to do this, though, is with these guys. These are called GorillaPods. And they're little tripods that you can stick in your pocket, stick in a bag, and you always have a way to remotely hold your camera. And one of the nicest secrets about GorillaPods is the feet on all GorillaPods are magnetic.
Oh.
Yeah. That's good enough. Okay, so the feet on all the GorillaPods are magnetic, and you say, well, what does that mean? Here's the thing. Almost every surface on the ship is magnetic. So when you got every surface on the ship is magnetic, you can clip it to almost anywhere. An example, I have learned over the years that all of my clothing have neodymium magnets, I've done this, glued in the back of them, and when I finish with my clothes at the end of the night, I throw them against the wall, and they stick there. And my little cab attendant, he comes in last week, he goes, Boss Richard, he's like, sir, why are your clothes on the wall? I'm like, because my mom told me not to put my clothes on the floor. So he now comes in every few days, rips the clothes off the wall and takes them down to the laundry, and he's gotten smart with me recently. You know what he does? He sticks them on my door. Clean, takes off the hanger. It's great. But when you take a time lapse, remember that a time lapse is a video. So you've got a video, and this is a video, so we have to take it sideways, camera at the top, Android phones, charging port on the right. So where you plug it in is in your right hand or to the right of what you're shooting, and this is the whole sail in to Venice. I'll show you one more time lapse real quick that I think I had open here. Let me find this one. It's right here. This is another one I took. This is in the, this is in somewhere. So this is in Alaska. It's a slightly different type of time lapse. This one I didn't take as much out my window because I wanted to show the porthole there. But you can see the porthole, and this is the approach to the Hubbard Glacier. So you've got the approach to the Hubbard Glacier in Alaska, which is really quite a cool one as well. I'm going to jump out of here. And the next thing I want to talk about, though, is not time lapse. It's another type of video called a slow-mo. And here's a slow-mo video. Remember, it's a video. It does record audio as well. It goes... There's myself getting hit in the face with a snowball. So there I am getting hit in the face with a snowball in slow-mo. You just take your phones or your tablets, you set it to that mode, and it will go ahead and it will record in that mode, either slow-mo or a time-lapse. Now I want to talk about the last shooting condition, and we're going to go back and talk about some of them a bit more in depth, but I want to talk about the last shooting condition you might have, which is a pano. Now this is something that you should have on all of your devices, a pano or a panorama. But before we get started on that, I want to show you something that I find very important with panos that's not documented anywhere. So I have a photo. I'm going to keep my phone in the exact same spot right here. I have a photo. We've got these two ladies in the photo. Do we see the brightness of the image? Again, please don't watch this screen for this demo. Watch the side screens, because that's going to be much more representative of what my actual screen looks like, because my screen's not projected. So I've got a photo there. If I go over Oh, let me make sure. Get a visual image really quickly of what that looks like. And if I go over to Pano, what you'll notice is it's a lot darker. A panorama is designed to be taken in natural light. So it's not designed, you can take it indoors as long as there's natural light around. So panorama in this room, it's not going to turn out great, but I'm still going to kind of show you how to do it. Now if you have an iPhone or an iPad and you open up Panorama, to start the panorama, all you have to do is click on that little white arrow. Do you see the little white arrow? And then if it keeps jumping, just keep clicking it. And that's how you keep someone entertained for hours. That's not actually how you start a panorama, but some of you got that. To start a panorama, what we do is in the direction of the arrow, we press the shutter button once. So we press the take picture button. I don't know if volume works. Volume does work, so you can press the volume button, and then you sweep from one way to another. I sweep, and I can go all the way around to take a picture. I'm going to see if I can find my panoramas. Let me see if I got a panorama here. I'm sure I have panoramas. Let me see. Show more. Let's just go Panorama, France. Now what I'm using to find these pictures, if I eventually find these pictures, is I'm using this terrible program we're going to talk about a bit later in the class, and I say terrible sarcastically, terrible program called Google Photos. Here's an example of a panorama that I took. This is at the Louvre, I think, yeah, in Paris, France, and what you'll notice is I am in the picture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Oh.
And this is one of the coolest panorama tricks. I'm going to show you how to do this trick. I need a victim, though. Victim. Stand up.
Oh no.
No, it's not going to be bad, I promise you. Just stand right there. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. This is my favorite panorama trick, and I never really show how to do this. But this is one you just kind of learn over time. Now, you have to be nimble to do it 5 times. We're just going to do it twice. But what I do is I go to take a pano, and stay still. Okay. Once she's out of the picture, though, go behind me. Walk behind me, and jump to the other side. Stay about right there. And I continue taking it. Come closer this way, so my hand's not that steady. And I can get her in the picture twice. We should have her. It's not going to be perfect because the lighting's a little weird. But now look, you have a twin. You're right there. And you're also right there. One of my favorite pictures I've ever taken, and unfortunately I don't show it because someone went to guest relations and said, "Hey, you have this picture and I found it offensive." In the Vatican, I took a great picture where I was an angel on one side and a devil on the other side. And I actually brought 2 different costumes with me, and I changed while the person was taking the panorama. So what you did is if you do it properly, you have 2 people that know how it works, you can stop it, go around, get in the picture again, stop it, go around, get in the picture again, stop it, go around, get in the picture again. And that's how I did it 5 times. So it's actually really quite an interesting thing. So we've talked about all the different modes except for one mode. And this is a mode that will not be on many of your devices. It will only be on your device if you have either a Samsung Note 8 or an iPhone 7 Plus or an iPhone 8 Plus. Now here's the thing. Those are possible upgrade phones for everyone in this room. So I want to show you the potential that these devices have. It's something called portrait mode. And what a portrait mode does is it makes your phone like an actual camera. And what I mean by that is it uses the 2 lenses. These phones have 2 lenses on the back of them. It uses the 2 lenses to actually figure out depth information and other information, and I can blur things and do other things like that. And I'm going to show you something really cool, and I'm going to try right now. I've not tried this one live before, but I can actually take a picture of someone and remove the background and make it look really, really fancy, just with the processing power that's on the phone. It's actually really quite cool, so I need a victim/volunteer. Anybody? I'll give you a really cool picture after. I promise you. Okay. So I'm going to use an additional light just to help me out. Now we're going to take, because it's a little dark in here, and I'm going to take 2 pictures real quick. And actually, that one is not the one I want to take this one. I need to move closer. I can't really get that much closer. There we go. My hand's not super stable, but. And watch what this is going to do. It's going to take out, and it's going to make a really cool, so it's using the depth. I'm going to try it without the light. It's a little, there we go. Place subject within stage light. There we go. Let's try this one. This is not a perfect shooting condition to do this in. Trust me. Okay. But you can get some really cool shots. It's actually removed the entire background, and the only reason I brought the light is because this room is so dim. This room is so dim, and it needs a little bit more light to do it. I'm just using this light for a really cool risk, but you can get some really cool shots. You'll notice that there's no background there. Now, this room is not optimal shooting conditions, but I'll show you some optimal shooting conditions. I mean, this is, I don't know how many of you know the concierge Jonathan. That was taken on my phone. I want you to understand. That picture was taken on my phone in a staircase. I mean, this was this next picture. This is my boss, Pedro. This is a picture that was taken. These were taken one after the other. I took this picture on the staircase. I said, Pedro, turn and look at me. And I took that picture from my phone. This is how powerful these devices are now. So you actually have a portrait mode that you can go in and you can do these things with on the iPhone 7 Plus, iPhone 8 Plus, and the Note 8. But you asked a question about my light, and I think we should talk about my light for a minute, because when you take pictures, some of you use this thing called the flash. You know the flash. And one of the cool things is in the production shows now, unfortunately you didn't get to see a production show last night, but I think they're going to have it tonight. In the production shows now, you're going to hear something very strange that they put before the show. They are now going to say, since Celebrity did not used to own the shows, now Celebrity owns all of their shows. So they're not rented, they actually bought all the shows and created all the shows themselves. So they say, feel free to take photos and videos during the show. Now this does not apply to the guest entertainer shows, just the ones with the production cast. They say, feel free to take video and photos during the show. And what do all of you do? You take the pictures with the flash. So, the thing is, we're going to talk about the flash for a minute. The flash has one purpose and one purpose alone, which is finding things under your bed. Okay? That's the purpose of the flash. We drop the keys, we drop everything like that, we go look under the bed. The flash's use is about 3 feet, and the flash normally does significantly more harm than it does good to a photo. So I'm going to take 2 photos real quick. One with the flash. Nice couple right there. And one without the flash. And you tell me which photo looks more natural. No, this one. The second one looks a lot more natural. The first one with the flash overexposes, overcompensates. The only time you want to use the flash is when you have no other option. But generally the flash is used for finding things under the bed. So if I'm telling you to use the flash when you have no other option, what do you use instead of the flash? And here's where things start to get really quite cool. So what you can do, and you probably don't know this, is when you're taking your picture, and I'm going to use this lady with the white phone case. I want you to keep it up, because I'm going to use it back here. So we'll see we have the lady right here with the gentleman right next to her. If I wanted to make this image darker for some reason, because it was too bright, I can actually click on something light, like his shirt. And it makes the image a little darker. If I wanted to make the image lighter, do you see her sweater / jacket / whatever it is? If I click on that, you see the image becomes a bit lighter? Watch the side screens. It's hard to see, but you see how the image is darker, it's lighter?
Yeah.
It's very dimly shown when I project it, but if you're taking an image and you click on something light, it will make the entire image darker. If you're taking an image and you click on something dark, it will make the entire image lighter. One of the best ways to try this is if you happen to run in during the day to one of the officers on the ship. They're wearing dark pants and a white shirt, so ask to take a picture of them, or with them, or around them, or something like that, and you can actually try this out. But if you tap things, but you don't always need to do that. Anybody watch Game of Thrones? No, that's not a UK thing. There's actually something on your device called HDR. Should be something on your device called HDR. Does anybody know what that stands for? High definition? No? Try again.
No.
Gordon, you don't count. Gordon's a nerd. High dynamic range. So HDR stands for high dynamic range. When we're tapping around, we're changing the colors. What we're really doing is we're changing the dynamic range of the image. And an HDR automatically exposes the lightest part, the darkest part, and blends the photos together. So that's what's really cool. That's what an HDR is doing, is it's really making a bit more of your photos than you would normally be able to do. Now, that's an HDR, but I want to talk about now, I just got my phone. I want to see if I have this application installed. I want to show you one more application. Now, most of us take pictures in the camera application. I want to show you another application that will teach you to be a better photographer. It is a free application available both on iPhone and Android, and I have yet to open it on my new iPhone, and the last thing we're going to end with is something with pictures on my new iPhone, because it's important. It's called Camera 51. Now, what this does is it makes you a better photographer. I highly recommend you download it, and it's kind of a little replacement for the camera app. And I'm going to open him up real quick. Let's get him going up. This is the first time I've opened Camera 51. So it's going to ask for all these permissions. Would you like it to access the microphone? Yes. Will you let it access the camera? Yes. And it says, you know, for a great picture, just slide the phone icon to the box by moving your phone. So I'll show you how this works live. And I just slide the icon, and it goes perfect. Now the picture's ready to be taken. It uses some really cool tech to actually compose and make your shot better. So if you wish to manually select an object, it can be done by touching the screen. The point will determine the framing, focus, and exposure automatically. You don't need to do any of this. Now, I don't use this app because I'm actually a pretty reasonable smartphone photographer, so I don't need it anymore. But if you want to get a lot better, you can go in and you can do this. So I'll give you an example. I'm not even going to take any pictures. I'm just going to show you how this works. It's going to analyze that picture, and it's going to show me I need to move my phone to there to take a better picture. Or it'll analyze the picture, and it's got a group photo, and it'll say group photo detected. And then that's perfect. But if I want to take a single picture, it's going to show me there. Now this follows a lot of tech called the rule of thirds. Have you heard the rule of thirds or the golden rule in photography before? This is following it. It's putting a grid on your screen, but it's making life so incredibly easy to do, and you can move that. You can do all kinds of different things with your photos. Now the last thing I want to talk about today is something that is a big problem with a lot of people with photos. Okay, we take photos with our phone. You know, we take photos with our camera. We have a little SD card. We pop out the SD card. We fill the SD card. We get a new SD card. Da da da. My dad doesn't understand that SD cards are reusable. So he has SD cards from 20 years ago that we can't even read on the computer anymore. And he's like, oh yeah, these are perfectly fine. But I know if you take a lot of pictures, if you take a lot of video on your device, what's the first thing you do? You fill up your device completely. Now there's an application I've been talking about for a couple of years called Google Photos. And they just went mainstream Christmas time last year. So I happened to be watching the new Star Wars movie. You know the one where everybody dies at the end? Rogue One? Oops! Sorry! Don't worry. If you haven't seen it yet, it's too late. I'm not spoiling the other one, because that's much better. But, you know, in that Star Wars movie, before that, they showed this commercial. And I want to show you this commercial because I went through this exact same situation on, when was it? Thursday. I got a new iPhone, and I didn't want to restore my iPhone from backup or do anything like that. So I went through this exact same situation, but this is something you've seen.
Your phone has been there for you. It's seen your best side and your worst days. It's there for you in the mornings, and it's the last thing you see at night. You go everywhere together. Everywhere. You've even saved its life. It's your loved ones, your loved notes, and your memories. It's been there through it all, in the palm of your hand. But forget that old piece of garbage, because you just got a brand new phone, and it is glorious. It's got everything except your photos. So get the Google Photos app, and all the photos on your old phone will be waiting for you on your new phone automatically. It's a holiday miracle. Happier holidays from Google Photos.
And you might say, but I have an iPhone and I use iCloud. And I pay them £3 a month to keep all my photos on iCloud. Can anybody in this room securely say that all their photos are backed up in iCloud and feel safe right now making that statement? No. You can? I don't think you can. Because I can't make that statement, I'll be honest with you. And here's the great thing. Google, what you're going to notice is the theme, and we're going to talk about the rest of the cruise. We're going to talk about Google Translate. We're going to talk about Google Photo Scan. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things like that. Google has created a program called Google Photos that works across iPhones and iPads and Androids and Windows and Mac. If you have a BlackBerry, I feel sorry for you and I don't really care. So, but let's be completely honest there. But it's called Google Photos, and it's an amazing piece of software because all I did was when I got my new iPhone, I installed Google Photos on my new iPhone, and every single picture came. Oh, look! Some of you might recognize these people. But as I take the pictures, they upload. They're safe. They are in the Google Photos cloud. Now, not only are they accessible on my computer, on my iPhone, on my iPad, on my Android, on everything in between, but they're accessible anywhere. And who was the one asking about it? Someone asked about a TV cable earlier. Where's my friend here? He said, can I plug my phone in my TV? Here's the cool thing. I'm going to demo this a bit later on the cruise. Maybe during the cloud class we do. I can say, okay, Google, show me my photos from last week on the bedroom TV. This is how, and it will actually turn on the bedroom TV and show me my photos from last week. The really cool thing is Google's kind of the glue that holds everything together. And if you're getting TVs nowadays, they have a lot of stuff built in. If you buy a new TV, you've got so much junk that you didn't know you ever needed. But they're on there. But once you get your photos on Google Photos, you can do some crazy things. Like I can go ahead and I can type in here and I can type in Richard drinking. And it knows who Richard is because I defined who Richard is, and it's going to find all the pictures of me drinking. This is really bad. I shouldn't show this, but, September 23rd. When was that? A couple days ago. There's my sangria. Here's some beer. But let's say we want to get even more specific. I could say Richard drinking wine. Now, here's the cool thing. All I ever told it is who Richard was. I didn't tell it what drinking. Oh, gosh. I went on a shore excursion once. We had lunch, and people didn't finish the wine on their tables. And I took it amongst myself. No wine is left behind. And we went to the Vatican right after that photo was taken. Yeah, it was wonderful. The guys yelled, "No photos!" I just yelled back at them. I said, "I'm going to take photos!" In the Sistine Chapel. So I can go through and I can search. And I can get, let me see if I can get this guy from the other day. This is my dog. He's a Nova Scotia duck toller. And I've just typed in duck toller. And I get pictures of Tyler, the Nova Scotia duck toller. Now, I never told it what a duck toller was, and it automatically figured out what a duck toller is. Now, where's the picture of the dog? Oh, look here. This is Tyler as a puppy. This is Richie as Tyler as a puppy. And this is Tyler making boom. But I've actually got Tyler over all the years and all the different things like that, and I can search and I can do all these different things. Now, I am going to give in our cloud class we're going to do later on the cruise an overview of Google Photos. But Google Photos as a whole is not something you can teach to more than about 20 people at a time. So later in the cruise, on the next sea day, so we have the next sea day is after Lisbon, we're going to have an apps class at like 1 o'clock or so, and then at 3:30 in the iLounge, we're going to be taking a look at Google Photos. Now, I can guarantee you this is the only Google Photos class anywhere in the world. I've never seen it anywhere else. I'm the only guy that offers it. Those of you who have taken it before, I know the 3 of you have taken it before. It's definitely it's a definitely interesting thing. So you can sign up for that. It's going to be at 3:30 on the next sea day. But we're going to be back in here or in the theater at some time on the next sea day talking about apps. And I'm going to leave you with one really cool app because I think we have a couple seconds. I want to leave you with one really cool app to kind of whet your appetite for what we're going to go ahead and we are going to look at. I got to think which one I want to show because I got a lot. So there's something new that's come out in the new iOS software, and it'll be coming out in the new Android software really quick, called augmented reality. And I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with IKEA, because IKEA is really cool, and we all love IKEA, and we love the meatballs, and we love the furniture that they throw extra screws in just to mess with you. Why do I have 9 extra screws at the end of building this table? The people in Sweden. Hold on, I got to find my favorite IKEA thing from the other day. I went to IKEA, I got a beer in IKEA. They actually make IKEA beer now. And on the top it says, bottle opener not included. But this is where you start using the camera camera to do some really, really awesome things, and this is called augmented reality. Now, the thing is, I can't make this go sideways, it's really new, but imagine if you could use the camera to scan a room in your house and then place IKEA furniture inside of that room in virtual reality. Let's see if it wants to work. So what it's doing right now is it's actually scanning the room, it's figuring out what's in the room, and then I can go ahead and I can add things to the room, such as, I don't think we need a sofa, let's go with a children's stool. That can be misconstrued. I love the rolling laugh. But it's showing normally on my phone. I'll go like this, and you'll see I actually have the stool in real life. And I can go all the way around the stool. And next to that stool, I want to put a garbage can. So I can move the garbage can right next to the stool. Well, and you know what? I need a desk as well. So let's add a desk. We'll put the desk about right here. There's the desk. The stool's under the desk. But I can actually crawl under the desk to get to the garbage can and the stool. And this is where things start getting crazy because I designed let's put a sofa right here because that's where you need a sofa. Some people can sit in the sofa. And I've designed an entire room right here in full 360 degrees. I can walk all the way around it. I can see the sofa. I can see the garbage can. I can see the table that's partially on stage. So I'll move the table out, and this is really cool. You can use any product in IKEA's catalog. The cool thing is, this is just to whet your appetite because I've got some really cool augmented reality apps that I'm going to show in the apps class, which will be the next one that we do in here. So that's going to be on the next CD. I cannot confirm a time for you yet, but probably 12/1/2, somewhere around that time. And then we're going to have the Google Photos at 3:30 as well. But that is going to be what's going on. And then we're going to talk about the cloud later on in the cruise. And the most important thing, I made fun of my friend earlier right here. If you have an AOL or a Yahoo account, please, when you come and you tell it to me, I will take, or my assistant will take great shame on you, because AOL and Yahoo are dead. My goal is to get you all switched to Gmail. And I'm going to explain to you why. Number one, you need Gmail for a Google Photos account, but I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to explain to you how to let your contacts know and all that. That's called Get Going with Gmail. So we got all about apps, we got What's the Cloud, we got Get Going with Gmail, which is part of our 5-class series that's in here. Elsewise, my name's Richard. This has been this camera you always have with you. I guess that's the name we're going with. Bye!